Welcome to Sister's Kitchen Counter. Today I would like to share with you one of my favorite desserts called rorukeki in Japanese. This is very similar to a Swiss roll cake here in the US. My mom made this for us all the time while growing up in LA, so this dish really brings back memories for me. Let's start with the ingredients. I have 4 eggs here, which I've already separated into egg yolk and egg whites. I have 8 tablespoons of cake flour, 9 tablespoons of granulated sugar, 3.5 tablespoons each of whole milk and vegetable oil. And for the whipped cream, I have 1.5 cups of heavy cream and 4 tablespoons of granulated sugar. I've also pre-done a few things, which is separated 4 eggs from egg whites to egg yolks. I've also sifted the cake flour, which is very important because you don't want any clumps in your sponge cake. And I've also lined a 9x13 baking sheet with parchment paper. What I did was on high speed with my electric mixer, I beat the egg whites until stiff peaks form. You can tell it's stiff peaks when it holds its texture like this. So I gradually added half the sugar and beat this on high speed until stiff peaks form, which will take about 2 to 3 minutes on high speed. Next, I am going to add the remaining sugar to the egg yolks, and I am going to beat this until this becomes very light yellow in color. And this again will take a few minutes, but patience pays off. After beating the egg yolks and granulated sugar for a few minutes, it becomes a light yellow like this. Next, we're going to add the vegetable oil and the whole milk to this mixture, egg yolk mixture, and we're gonna again beat this until it's well incorporated, which is just 30 seconds at most. Great, let's add the cake flour to the egg whites that we beat earlier with the sugar. We're going to incorporate this until the flour is completely incorporated into the egg whites. We're not going to mix it, we're just kind of folding it until the flour disappears. This might take a little bit of time, but you want to keep the fluffiness, so you don't want to mix the flour here. In cake flour, it's very cake flour, there's all-purpose flour, there's bread flour. It's a little confusing, but the protein content is a little different. Cake flour has a lower protein content than what we use for other baked goods like all-purpose flour. So it's perfect when you want to make a nice fluffy cake. There we go. I think this looks good. The flour is completely gone. Next, we're going to use 1/3 of this and put this into the bowl of egg yolks, and again mix it. We're doing this with a few steps because you want to keep the fluffiness again from the beaten egg whites. We're not going to over mix it, we're just kind of gently folding this egg whites. Okay, and then next we're going to add half of the egg whites, the leftover egg whites, into this bowl of egg yolks again. And again, doing the same thing, incorporating it. That's nice and fluffy. Okay, last but not least, we're going to add next the egg yolk mixture into the bowl of egg whites. So you want to make sure to get all the leftover egg whites into this whole cake batter. And then let's again do the same thing. Fold it until everything is fully mixed. Fold. You want to keep the fluffiness. It's a nice light yellow color. Okay. That looks good. Looks good to me. Alright, so I have a 9x13 baking sheet lined with parchment paper, and I am going to pour this entire cake mixture into this baking sheet. You want to make sure to kind of spread this cake batter evenly to all 4 sides. But even if it doesn't look perfect, You don't really have to worry because baking it will kind of even out the cake. Spread it, and then what I like to do, or what you need to do, is you need to kind of drop this whole baking sheet from your kitchen counter about 5 inches away from the countertop so that all the air bubbles in this cake batter are removed. You can do this a few times. And then that's it. We pop this into the oven, 350 degrees Fahrenheit for 10 minutes until it's nice and brown on top. We removed the sponge cake from the oven after 10 minutes and it looked like this. What I did was I covered the top of the cake with saran wrap. This is really an optional step, but it'll remove the tan color from the top layer. And I've also started cutting the sides of this roll cake so that basically we get even sides on all four and it's like a nice rectangle. And I'm going to peel this off and you can see that most of the tan color has been removed. This step is really optional. When I make this at home, I just, I don't mind the tan color. Next, what I did with the whipped heavy cream is I beat it on high speed for 3 to 4 minutes and with the sugar in there. And so I have stiff peak heavy cream here that I'm just spreading evenly on top of the roll cake. And the key here is to leave a little, to go a little heavy on the heavy cream on the side that's closest to you. So for me it would be this side. So I'm leaving a little mountain of heavy cream so that in the center of the roll cake you'll have a little bit of extra heavy cream. And who doesn't like heavy cream, extra heavy cream? Next, this is the fun part. We are going to start rolling this cake. You can use the parchment paper that you use. Just roll it gently. It's kind of like rolling sushi, but it's dessert. And then roll it. And you want to make sure that the seam side is facing down. And we're just going to cover this again with the same parchment paper. Tie the ends here, and you want to let this sit in the refrigerator for about 2 hours until it's really nice and cold inside, nice and chilled.
I love how this cake is versatile. You can add fresh fruits like peaches, strawberries, and bananas with the whipped cream, or you can add green tea powder or coffee powder to the sponge cake and make it a matcha roll cake or coffee roll cake.
Thanks for watching. A full recipe on how to make this roll cake is on our website at sisterskitchencounter.com.
Bye bye!
Mata ne!